Hello and welcome to the Raptors Reaction Podcast. I'm your host, William Liu. The Hello and Welcome Podcast is presented by Betway. For all your sports betting activities, hit the QR code that you see here on the screen. Follow the link you see in the description. Bit rusty here. Raptors have not played a game in a minute, so we have not gone live in a minute here. Obviously we took a little bit of a break for all-star purposes, but we're back to regularly scheduled programming, so it's great to see all of you guys here in the live chat once again, here going live on both YouTube and on X. Raptors lose tonight 120 to 111 in overtime. Honestly, it's a fun game. Like every time Raptors play Miami, it's usually pretty close. There's not too much separating the two sides. Raptors got a couple of wins against Miami this year. Miami obviously comes to Toronto here and gets the dub. It goes to overtime, which I think was probably the most notable portion of this game. At the start of it, it certainly did not look like the Raptors would be heading to overtime. Miami had come out to a really strong start, winning the first quarter 30-19. The Raptors had to call multiple timeouts just to sort of get it going. And, this is probably a little too early for the warm-up report, but man, even just watching some of the warm-ups, I'm like, damn, these guys definitely went on vacation for the last week, and they got to shake off some of this rust. I mean, there were several air balls that I was watching that warm-up there by the Toronto Raptors, and to be fair, on the Heat side too. But like a couple of things that when they started the game, I was like, dude, what are we doing here? We had at one point Scotty screened Immanuel Quickley, like he literally screened his own teammate. That was a little tough to see. We had RJ taking a bad runner in traffic, going 1-on-2. That was not a good shot. Scotty taking his first shot of the game. It was from 30 and it was a hard brick. Not a good shot. Orlando Robinson getting called for the first of two moving screens against Davion Mitchell. Davion obviously coming back to Toronto for the first time. Super friendly, literally walked around and talked to every single person in the Raptors organization. He even sat down beside us in the media and chatted for a little bit as well. But you knew he was going to get on his revenge game, and his version of revenge game is a moving screen. So good on Davion for playing defense like he's always done. Grady Dick tried to throw a full court bounce pass to Scotty Barnes, and it was very easily picked off by Miami. And then IQ, after the Raptors had to take a timeout, had to take another timeout because he couldn't inbound the ball because both Grady and Orlando weren't cutting to get open. Like, it was a very unserious effort to start this game. However, as the game picked up from there, Raptors actually did pretty well. Like, I thought the Raptors actually shot the three ball at a decent clip, 17 of 43 tonight from deep. That was the main reason the Raptors were in this game. And quite frankly, with a really good chance to win it at the end there. I thought that RJ Barrett certainly set the tone for the whole team. 29 points in 38 minutes, 11 of 17 from the field, 4 of 6 from three. IQ also 5 of 11 from three, super aggressive, looking for his shot, kind of going back and forth with Davion Mitchell. Obviously, Davion is a great defender, and certainly somebody who's very familiar with Quickley's game. But I thought IQ actually used his screens really well. Was super aggressive, looking for his offense, and even the 8 of 21, I don't even mind that much. I like the way that he was able to bomb away from three, so that was good. Off the bench, you had guys who were contributing from three. Jacoby Walter knocked down some big threes down the stretch there. Orlando Robinson chipped in with the three. I mean, he started this game, which is, honestly good for him, right? Because of the fact that, Jakob Poeltl was out of this game due to injury management, I think it was called. But I also really think that that's just like related to the Raptors tanking efforts. The Raptors are making it as obvious as possible now down the stretch that there can be no doubt that the Raptors intend to play for the lottery as much as possible. And you know exactly what that means. And so, yes, Jakob did injure himself, but also he just had the All-Star break, and then we're giving him another game off here for conditioning. People, we know what that is. Okay. But Orlando gets to start. He knocks down the three. He played some pretty good defense, and quite frankly, down the stretch, it was actually really fun to watch the Raptors put together this run in the fourth quarter where it was mostly RJ Barrett leading the way. I mean, RJ was super impressive. Here's a couple of plays that he made down the stretch. A pull-up three right away, coming off the timeout with like 3 minutes left, Raptors down three. The ball gets swung over to RJ. RJ dribbles to the top, sees that his defender, which was Andrew Wiggins, and the two of those guys went at it all game. So it was a really fun watch. But those guys going right at it. RJ sees that Wiggins was just a little bit down on the screen, and he just like pulled up for three, very confident, very smooth, knocked it down right away to force a tie game. Then the next play, he backs down Andrew Wiggins one-on-one and gets to his spot and throws up a push shot, knocks that down from about 10 feet out. Miami then calls for timeout to adjust for this. Then you had RJ coming out, broken play. Raptors got to play one-on-one, which they rarely do. He goes one-on-one against Nikola Jovic and, gets himself to the foul line, makes both, which is huge for RJ. We know he can sometimes be a little off with the free throws, but in a key moment, he makes both free throws there. Then another play where again, the Raptors are a bit broken play. Grady Dick gets pressure going up the court, gives it up to Scotty, who's like pressured on the basket. Scotty throws a bounce pass to RJ as a trailer. RJ cuts in and finishes a really impressive high layup, puts it really high on the glass, and it bounces in. And at that point, the Raptors are up 3 and had all the momentum, and the arena was really into it. The crowd was really into it. It was yet another very successful Caribbean Heritage Night down at Scotiabank Arena. That's 3 for 3 for the Raptors since they sort of implemented this. So it was great vibes, great everything going around. Unfortunately, RJ gets a little too excited and fouls Andrew Wiggins on the for 3 on the next trip down. Credit to Wiggins for knocking down all 3 free throws, but there was still a really good chance for the Raptors to again clinch this thing in regulation. It was about 42 seconds between the end of regulation and a potential overtime. The score was tied at 107. And you were just very curious as to okay, the Raptors are rarely in these clutch scenarios. Who are they actually going to give the ball to? And, given the fact that RJ had made all these plays down the stretch, it was like, okay, well, the play should really go to RJ Barrett. It seems like he's really done a good job here. But instead, the Raptors run a 2-man action with Immanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes. Ultimately, they get the ball to Scotty. IQ sets a screen. IQ's not really a great on-ball screener. It feels like it doesn't really connect. Having seen like a decade of Kyle Lowry do this, where basically the Raptors used one of their go-to plays down the stretch in previous years was like, you give it to DeMar or Kawhi or Pascal, and then you have Kyle come over and set a screen, and Kyle always managed to force a switch, force his smaller defender onto the primary scorer in that case, and at least look to attack that matchup. It just doesn't execute the same way when it's IQ doing it. But the ball gets over to Scotty's hands. It's late clock scenario. The play takes too long to develop anyway. Like, I know the Raptors almost never play for 2-for-1s all season, but like when you have 42 seconds left, it's imperative that you get a shot up early enough that you give yourself a chance to play for a 2-for-1. Because let's say you take a shot, with like 15 seconds into the clock, which, by the way, no matter what play you should execute, 15 seconds should be more than enough to try to get to that shot. But like, if you get to a shot 15 seconds in, then Miami still has the ball back maybe with 30 seconds. Then you have a chance to respond to whatever Miami does. But because the play took way too long to develop in the first place, the Raptors only get one shot, and they only hand the ball back to Miami with the shot clock turned off. But it wasn't even a good play. I mean, like, it was like Scotty trying to get downhill. Most of Miami's defense is completely loaded, waiting for him to drive. They know what he's going to do. Scotty gets downhill, throws up a little, like, very contested runner that doesn't get anywhere close, and Miami gets the rebound. Nobody's in position to crash for the rebound either. And now all of a sudden you turn yourself from a position where you should really have 2 shots at it. And honestly, ideally, you should give it to RJ because he's been doing the most of the scoring for you in the first place. The only reason you're in the game and in the lead down the stretch was because of RJ and the aforementioned plays. They go down the other way, and now it's the Raptors' chance to, at least hang on and try to force overtime. And credit to Scotty, he did a really good job against Tyler Hero. On that play, forcing Hero to get downhill, which is the correct thing to do. Hero had been hurting the Raptors with pull-up threes and an assortment of wild threes. He had done a great job in the mid-range as well on the pull-ups. So the pressure should have been on. The on-ball pressure was there to sort of like get him downhill, force him down the lane, and then bring help late, force him to pass. And that's exactly what happened. The Raptors got Hero downhill. He had to kick it out, and now it was wide open to Bam in the corner. And Bam Adebayo is a capable corner 3-point shooter, but Bam, for some reason, turns down the wide open look for 3 right at the end there, tries to dribble in towards the basket for a closer shot, goes in for a floater instead. Credit to Orlando Robinson because he had brought over with the help to force the ball out of Hero's hands, and then he rotates again to contest Bam on the floater and throws him off just enough for Bam to miss the shot, and the Raptors survive and hang on for overtime, despite some pretty bad execution in the last couple of seconds there. Now, when they get to overtime, it's a completely different story. I mean, the Raptors they never had their flow going at all in overtime. I also thought it was kind of interesting because Darko made 2 changes in overtime, and typically you don't change that much in overtime. Like typically you would just roll with like your starting lineup in OT, and despite some early foul trouble for Orlando Robinson, for example, he had actually been able to play and close down the stretch of regulation. And like I mentioned, he hit a 3, which was a big 3, a pick and pop 3, and he had also made a couple of good contests at the rim, taking away the basket for Miami. So, it felt like, okay, there's a good case to sort of play him down the stretch. But as soon as overtime started, you saw Jonathan Mobo come in. Now, I thought, okay, maybe the idea of putting Mobo in, maybe you could switch a couple more pick and roll actions. Maybe you could Scotty on Bam, and you could put, or Mobo on Bam, and you put Scotty on Hero, and then you switch those actions. But it just never quite worked out that way. Bam got free a lot for short mid-range floaters, which is sort of the thing that he's great at. And even though the Raptors were trying to switch against Hero, they also couldn't really guard him one-on-one either. If you're going to try to switch, you're ideally trying to say that you're trying to play things one-on-one, but then you have way too many mistakes, whether that's Mobo fouling Hero on a crossover and one in overtime. That's a mistake. Number one, giving up too much space, and number two, fouling on the recovery. And then also, if you're going to say that we're going to switch everything, then you really can't let Bam slip behind you on the pick and rolls and get space and be open. And that's what Bam lives on, is that little short mid-range floater, little mid-range whatever. And so he got a lot of those. The Raptors also didn't have rim protection because Wiggins was going right to the basket, nobody helping at the rim. And then so when the Raptors got down, eventually Dark called the timeout. He switched up again in overtime, taking out Mobile, putting in Jamal Shed. And I guess the idea was like, okay, small ball, multiple ball handlers, maybe try to attack with it in a different angle, in a different way. And by that point, it was kind of a little too late anyway. But it put the Raptors even smaller. And so it made the Miami Heat even have an easier time going to the basket. So ultimately, the defensive end was not working in overtime. That much is very clear. On the offensive end, that wasn't really working either. Scotty with a walk-up pull-up 3, missed it. IQ being super aggressive on pull-up 3s, missed it. RJ, the one chance it felt like he actually got to touch the ball, he was able to score it. He was able to just one-on-one his guy and, hit a short turnaround hook shot. But he just didn't really have it much, right? Like you knew down the stretch, Miami was running it through Hero, and if it wasn't Hero, it was going to be Bam. But primarily it was going to be Hero down the stretch. And Toronto was running it through RJ, but then they suddenly switched up, and, if they kind of lost the rhythm down the stretch. Once again, I say all this to say, that's the basketball portion. I think the bigger picture portion is, Raps are probably, and not the players themselves, because the players are very competitive, and you can see how much they were into it. But the organization, let's just say that, the organization is probably thrilled. This is probably the most ideal outcome of a game down the stretch here. The remainder of February, March, and April, this is the ideal game. You play it tough, you play it hard, and then down the stretch, you blow it. Like, that is actually the best way to close out this season. Basically, the way they started this season, because the Raptors cannot make it more clear that they are trying to play for lottery balls, whether that means resting key players down the stretch, because the Raptors have had a poor record all the last 2 seasons without Jakob Poeltl. When Jak's on the floor, Raps don't win. That's just kind of how it goes. And then also influencing that further by making micro decisions within the game. This is not me putting on a conspiracy hat, okay? Trust me, previous times this season, there have been moments where I'm like, close game, you could have done this, and this, whatever. I think at this point, it's pretty clear. We all have it on good authority that the Raps they're playing for the lottery. And so this is actually the ideal outcome. Raptors down the stretch, play it hard. Some good performances from some of the young guys. RJ, IQ played really well. I thought Jacoby Walter continues to give them a good effort there. Grady Dick, despite kind of, missing a lot of shots, I thought he actually came up big in a couple moments. Also led the team with rebounds, 10 rebounds for Grady Dick, including 4 offensive. That's actually really rare to see that from Grady. That might be a career high for him, but I liked how tough he played. Jamal Shed had some good stretches there as well. He continues to sort of play well in his limited backup minutes. Mobile knocked down a 3. And obviously Scotty didn't play well. He was a minus 25 in 38 minutes. That sticks out. I would have to say that he did roll his ankle pretty badly in the first quarter. He had to be helped to the bench, and then he limped to the locker room. It didn't look good for a second. Of course, we've seen Scotty go through a couple of these stretches where he's able to ultimately come back in the game, or even not miss that much time despite injuries looking super severe, at least on the initial reaction. But he was at least able to come back in the game, and he had some good moments. Like there was a play where he, stonewalled Bam twice in the post, blocked him ultimately, then went the other way and took a strong at the basket. I just wish there were more of those moments, but ultimately, that wasn't necessarily. Look, the offense really should have ran through RJ and Quickley tonight. Those are the two guys who had it going. So, Scotty was kind of, off to the side a little bit, but still, again, this is how the team is going to be operating. They are going to be looking to lose as many of these games down the stretch as possible. And I'm going to hit you with a bit of a crazy stat, at least it was to me. But out of the Raptors' 26 remaining games on the season, the Raptors only have 4 more games where they play teams that are above 500. Only 4 out of 26 opponents, the Raptors are playing teams above 500. Those 4 games above teams above 500 are February 25th against Boston, February 26th against Indiana. So 2 of those games are going to just be next week. So those 2 games. Then March 20th against Golden State, and Golden State is 1 game over 500. So this is like barely clearing the bar. But March 20th, they play Golden State, and then April 4th, they play Detroit. All of their 22 remaining other games are against teams under 500. So it is going to be very difficult for the Raptors to thread this needle and make sure that they get as many lottery balls as possible. But I think the hope is that you see more games like this one. And you know what? Like, we can kind of complain, whatever, but ultimately at the same time, I think it's look. I think for the sake of the team, management knows exactly what's supposed to happen right here. And it was job well done from Darko all the way down, but Raptors, unfortunately, but also fortunately, lose to the Miami Heat in overtime. Okay, we're going to bring in producer, co-host Alex Wong here because he has been in the stream. He's been in the chat here looking at what you guys have to say. What's up, bro? What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, man? Chat, what's going on, chat? Super negative tonight, man.
What? Why?
Quickly apparently scammed Masai, for his contract.
Really?
Scotty's a bum. Scotty's not even a role player.
He's not. What?
I'm just the messenger here. Yeah, entire team is trash.
Is this how we fail?
Darko incompetent. Guys, man, it's just a team coming off an all-star break. And like Will said, they're not really trying to win right now, so it is what it is. Yeah, but
how much clearer can we say this? You and I both have it on good authority that this
Bobby said at his trade deadline presser. No, this is official, Bobby. Bobby said at his trade deadline presser to pray to the lottery gods.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think that's about as transparent as the team can be.
Yep.
Without Adam Silver, Mr. Beast's #1 fan, coming in and slapping the Raptors with a fine. So, anyway, stat is, the stat about the 26 games. The scary part is there's still 26 games left. Damn.
Oh,
yeah.
It's about to get scary. By the way, the schedule down the stretch is absolute ass when it comes to the Raptors' opponents. Okay, it's Phoenix Suns, Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers. That's the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, Chicago Bulls, Orlando Magic, Utah Jazz, a back-to-back against Washington Wizards, both in Toronto, okay? Philadelphia 76ers, who are terrible this season, at Utah, at Portland, at Phoenix, at Golden State, who are 1 game over 500, San Antonio Spurs, who have just lost Wemby, Washington Wizards again. We're playing the Wizards 3 times. This is like a mini playoff series against the Wizards. Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets, 76ers, Bulls, Trailblazers, Pistons, Nets, Hornets, Mavs, Spurs. Like, yo. Oh, I guess the Mavs are over 500. Might be 5. Are Mavs over 500?
They are for now.
Oh, they're over 500. Okay, that's 5. I amend that stat. Sorry, 5 teams.
We might need to redo that off-season pod where we go through the rest of the schedule and predict the games again.
They're going to have to find 26 different ways to lose close games down the stretch here, okay?
Well, they found one tonight. Yeah, I don't know what happened in those last 3 minutes in overtime. Did RJ Barrett hit 7,000 career points and they were just like, that's enough. Enough is enough, bro.
Yo, they legit cut him off. They're like, yeah, we're trying to lose.
Also, Miami's the most mid team ever. I'm like, yo, wow, Davion Mitchell's just over there now. You got Andrew Wiggins.
Yo,
Like,
they were playing Wiggins like it was like Timberwolves Wiggins. Like they were like, here's the ball, go to work, Wiggins, which is crazy.
I hope Wiggins got a chance. I'm assuming Miami was in here last night.
Uh-huh.
I hope he got a chance to maybe go to a local establishment and watch Team Canada get their victory last night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what? We might have to pivot to talking about hockey, man, because this is my entire timeline today. And I had just gotten back from the States, so I'm just trying to like tap into like what's happening in Canada. I come back to my house, it's like
Yeah, you're
there's
playing in flip upside down at
uh
Pearson. I didn't check in. Yeah.
yo, honestly,
Yeah.
the
No,
thought went through my
I'm
mind.
fine.
I'm like,
Yeah. Shouts to everybody on that flight. Hope they're all doing better. I heard Delta is offering the opening offer is $30,000
hey, if you take
to
that
each
30K,
person. I want to know in the chat, would you take the 30K?
listen,
30K, or are you trying to hit that class action suit?
if you do not take these guys to court for the plane landing upside down and they give you 30K and you take it,
hmm
I don't know what to say, man. Like, just take
Man,
Delta for whatever they have, man. Are you kidding me?
if they added a zero to that, I think I would take it. Like 300K, you think you're taking that?
I feel like 300K is fair compensation for the plane landing upside down, man. Imagine how traumatized you would be.
Yeah,
If
imagine
the
how
plane,
traumatized Jerome and I were heading to the airport from San Francisco. And that was the news that we heard like right away, like when we got there. What
yeah,
up,
I was gonna
Jerome?
say, I texted you guys. I texted you. I was, what was I doing at I was probably like, I was probably like at Golden Gate Bridge, like just like
Yeah.
on a hike or something,
Yeah, because
looking
for
at the bridge.
context, like Will stayed behind in San Francisco, hung
Yeah,
out for
yeah.
a few more days. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm looking out the bridge. It's beautiful. It's like sunset. And then I text you guys. I'm like, wait, hold on. Are you guys gonna be okay? Like,
Yeah. I took a
because it was a
3 hour nap at the airport. I was just done that day, man.
yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, we hopped on board. I guess it was cool, got back.
Was
Honestly, I
it?
saw a lot of
Yo,
people
did
got
people clap when the plane landed?
I don't know, but I guess we should bring clapping back.
Yeah.
Because flying's a dangerous sport these days, man. Like, I don't know. I'm glad everyone's okay, but yeah, 300K, I would take it.
300K. Yeah, I feel
300K,
like
yeah.
300K would be more than fair.
Yeah.
Especially 300K USD, man. That's almost what's
Yeah,
that in Canadian these days,
that's like
man?
$1 million basically. Yeah,
Yo, you never feel more broke than going to America right now as a Canadian.
seriously.
I'm
But
like,
yeah,
what? Y'all don't want my little plastic money? That's not good.
no, I like buy a shirt for $20 and I go check my credit card back at the hotel and it's like $56.
You're like, oh,
I'm like,
breakfast is $20. That's somewhat
I'm
reasonable. And then
like,
you're like,
damn, man.
whoa.
I'm like, yo, this Ben Simmons figure that I bought in Philly was like $10 US. I go to check my credit card. It's like 27. Yeah. God damn, man.
Yeah, what kind of conversion rate is
That's
going
less
on, man?
games than he played for the Nets, man.
That's tough. That's tough.
Holy.
Anyway,
Anyways, what were you
it is
saying?
time
Yeah.
now for the
Oh, right.
Tangerine fan inbox, and we want to let you know that Tangerine is the official partner of the Toronto Raptors and official sponsor of both NBA Canada and WNBA Canada. If you're listening to this, there's no doubt in your commitment. Tangerine is celebrating fans like you, and of course, the Raptors right now are. It's gonna be like this down the stretch. I don't know how many other ways I'm gonna have to tell you. Like, it's just gonna be like this down the stretch. And so, if you're still sticking around here to watch the final 26 games of the Raptors season and looking ahead to next year, they're the ones that you're the ones that they would like to celebrate here because they're fans of fans who have their own nickname for each guy in the starting five. Fans of fans who stand 5 inches from the TV all night. Fans of fans who can recreate every player's layup package from their couch. And if you're hearing this, there's no doubt in your commitment. Fans like you are at the heart of what makes this game great. So this year, for the Raptors' 30th season, Tangerine is turning the spotlight from the court to the stands and celebrating the way the Raptor fans support their team because this is how we fan. To learn more, visit tangerine.ca/basketball. Okay, Alex, what are the streets saying?
Yeah, first question here is from G. Why do some fans want to trade RJ again? He's becoming more clutch and has worked on his floater.
RJ feels a little underappreciated. I feel like people kind of take RJ for granted. I think that when you join the team and the immediate reaction is, oh, the Raptors got IQ back for OG. That's great. And we have to take on RJ's contract. I think that already set the expectations pretty low. You heard the initial reports that NBA GM saw RJ as a toxic asset in the NBA.
I need to know if that was Nico Harrison. Yeah.
You know what? Actually, Someone should do an investigation. Someone should tell Zach Lowe, like, hey, man, just between the two of us, like, which was the GM that called
Hey,
him
Zach Lowe, man,
toxic accent?
you ain't tricking me doing one analysis on Twitter, then on Blue Sky, then on IG, getting me to follow you everywhere, man. I see your game. I see your free agency game, Zach Lowe.
Zach Lowe, get yourself an agent and get yourself money. Get yourself paid, buddy. Get yourself paid. But yeah, I mean, with RJ, it's always sort of seen like it's a throw-in. It's like, okay, he scores, but like the focus is on Scotty. Okay, he's traded, but the focus is on IQ. And okay, now we got Brandon Ingram here. Like, you know, who's the next to go? Probably going to be RJ. Or like, oh, yeah, Grady Dick, you know, he's emerging at the shooting guard. Maybe we, you know, move RJ. I've even seen RJ for 6-man at some points. Listen, I mean, it'll be a really good day for the Raptors roster if RJ Barrett, quality-wise and deserving-wise, is 6-man for the team, because that would mean we've added a lot of talent to the team. RJ is a very, very good scorer, and he has proven to be so in this system in Toronto. He has played his role really well. He has adjusted his role many times this season. If you ask RJ, he will tell you that, how much he's had to adjust this season. And now that everyone's been healthy again, he once again goes back to being an efficient scorer, playing off of IQ, playing off of Scotty, and also at times being able to create his own offense. I think we got to ask ourselves, like, what did we want to see from RJ after he got traded here that he hasn't done for us yet, right? Because, like, of late, I'm seeing some real defensive effort from RJ. Like, tonight, what did they have? Like, 2 steals. And I actually saw him, like, you know, making efforts defensively nonstop. I thought that, like, the effort has been there defensively. He's been on record saying that he wants to be good defensively. He wants to be consistent defensively. And then offensively, we wanted to see him be more efficient. So he's done that, right? He's gotten himself to the rim a ton. He plays in transition a ton. He doesn't play isolation basketball unless it's really called for and he has to create a shot. And he did a really good job of that down the stretch. He's improved his 3-point shooting, which isn't a great asset of his game, but it's still pretty good. I mean, like, you know, on a team where Scotty goes 1 for 5 every day from 3 and no one even bats an eye. The fact that RJ 4 of 6 from 3 and he's been a pretty efficient catch and shoot 3-point shooter since joining the Raptors, that's all pretty good. And my point is just, like, let's just not take RJ for granted. RJ is certainly a player that is unique in the NBA now. He doesn't necessarily fit the 3-and-D mold, but he's done a really good job as a Raptor. He represents the team really well. He scores really well. And even with Brandon Ingram, man, I just feels like, for me, it's like, that's just another guy who can really put pressure on the defense. But RJ's thrived no matter what role we've given him. And I think the contract extension will be kind of interesting, you know, like, because I think I've heard him say a couple of times, just, you know, like off the cuff kind of things, but just like, you know, like, you know, we gotta have to look at the contract, or like, you know, we're gonna get paid or whatever, because there is an extension coming up, and I think it's on his mind. He's aware of it, but he's played well enough to surpass the value of his contract. So that's all you can really say, man.
Yeah, appreciate greatness, you know. Hashtag RJ Barrett. Congratulations to RJ for crossing 7,000 career points, and I believe he has the most points from his draft class at the moment.
That sounds about right, actually.
Yeah. So I pulled up the 2019 draft. Let's do a quick redraft of the top 5.
Oh, not the redraftables.
Yeah, the redraftables. So Zion Williamson, would Zion Williamson still go number 1 if you redraft it today?
Number 1?
Mm-hmm.
If you could promise me that he's going to be healthy and you have a great organization that can, like, you know, because I think out of everybody in this class, and this class is actually a pretty good one, but he's shown you the highest highs. So
it says a lot about his potential that you would still probably take him first.
I mean, when Zion's healthy and he's on the court, he's pretty fantastic.
It's Zion's health versus Ja Morant's IG. Yeah, this is the battle.
Again, 2 just completely self-inflicted mistakes.
So would you would still go with Zion?
Yeah, I would have to look. I have a long convo about Zion versus Ja, but I'd probably still go with Zion. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say obviously Zion, Zion and Ja go 1-2. Who would you have third? So some candidates here. Friend of the community, Darius Garland, who was drafted 5th by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Hero went 13th.
Yeah.
All-star Tyler Hero.
Sure. Yeah.
Should we? No, we're not including Jordan Poole at 28th.
No, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
So who would you go third? I think it's Darius Garland.
I think Garland probably gets it for me as the third overall pick in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Garland did ultimately, what do you go, fourth? No, fifth.
So he went fifth to the Cavs, yeah.
Garland's pretty nice, man. And
okay,
that's all I'll have to say about Darius Garland.
So Zion, Ja, Darius Garland, and then RJ? Or would you pick? So this is now between. What about Tyler Hero?
It's basically RJ versus Hero, and Hero gives you more threes. So certainly there is an element there, but I also feel like RJ and Tyler Hero. It's honestly take your pick between the two of them. Like it really is for me. Like based on the way RJ's played for the Raptors. I think Hero obviously has more of a playoff resume because the Heat have been consistently in the playoffs, but I mean ultimately he was never like the number one guy on that team, right? Like so. Yeah, that's take your pick, honestly, between those two guys. And then the draft kind of falls off a bit after that. I feel like,
Yeah, there's really not much. I mean, the whole Lakers.
Kobe White's all right.
Yeah, Kobe White. They got the whole Lakers rotation.
He's kind of like on an IQ level, so
they got Jackson Hayes and Rui Hachimura in here. Cam Reddish. Wow, these are all Lakers.
A lot of Asians in this draft.
Yeah, these are all Lakers. Forgot about Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson would be in the top 10. He was drafted 11th.
How is Cam Johnson in this draft? How old is Cam Johnson now? It feels like Cam Johnson's like
PJ
Washington or something.
I mean, Jordan Poole, for all his faults, I feel like would still have to be in the top 10.
Yo, Cam Johnson is going to be 29 by season's end?
Yeah, he a vet, man.
Wow, he's a vet, bro.
He's approaching Chris Boucher. Suddenly he's a vet territory.
Yep.
All right, so the conclusion is we still love Zion, I guess.
I mean, it's tough. It's just really tough because the upside is so tantalizing, but the downside is so disappointing.
Yeah.
He's like the number one pick to be the future Embiid, you know what I mean? Like
I'm telling you, man.
He's going to tease you for your whole career if you have him.
No, he reminds me of Andrew Bynum. Yeah. Just like career arc wise. Because Bynum was like huge potential.
Yeah, he was.
And flashed it a little bit, and then it was just gone.
Yeah, but he went off the cliff. I don't know what happened with Andrew.
Well,
Bynum,
Zion could be headed that way too.
Yeah, that's true.
Next question, I'll handle this one. If the Raptors got Cooper Flag, who's coming off the bench? Who cares? Yo, we got Cooper Flag.
Yo, I don't
care. Send whoever to the bench, man.
Yo, legit, I don't care
Send
who they
Scotty
send to the
Barnes
bench.
to the bench. Let's experiment.
Let's play with 4 guys. No. Yeah, I mean, look, this is obviously why so many teams in the league are pivoting towards a tank, and this is why so much of the season has been focused on this sort of like, okay, it's cool if they win, but really it's cooler if they lose because you look ahead to the lottery. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if I just had to say on paper, it'll probably be, I mean, you need somebody to shoot ultimately, but like Grady is clearly by far like the 5th best player in the starting lineup as is. There's not a lot of shooting with like a Jakob, Scotty, RJ, Cooper, IQ lineup, but like still, I mean, if you imagine you upgraded from Grady Dick, which all due respect to Grady, great performance at the All-Star weekend, was super thrilled to see all of us in Toronto media down there on his behalf. Super proud moment. But like, if we upgrade from Grady Dick to Cooper Flag, like I'm not gonna worry about it. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna worry about it. So
man, people so mad at Scotty. Someone said I'm surprised Scotty doesn't live at Evergreen Brickworks because he bricks. What are we? Man. Yo, I appreciate that joke though.
That's kind of a fire shout out to Evergreen Brickworks.
That's actually a really good one.
Let's see. Guys, like, it is what it is, man. 13 points, 4 of 12. It's like he rolled his ankle, but also he's an inconsistent 3-point shooter. Like, it happens, man. It
It's just one game, baby.
Well, the issue is it's not been one game.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
below 30% from 3. But
next up, have you watched Norman Powell's interview on Young Man and the 3? I actually need this explained to me. So JJ Redick obviously took the Lakers head coaching job.
Yes.
And they had to rebuild the old man and the 3 a little bit. What is the rebuild structure of that podcast now? Are you familiar with this?
I'm not going to lie. I never really listened to that much old man and the 3 because I personally just don't like JJ Redick. But
okay, yeah. Another friend of the community.
Actually the opposite of a friend of the community. But like, you know, I've seen a couple of clips pop up It seems like a lot of Cam Johnson is on this.
Okay, because I think it's like a
Seen
by
some Duncan
committee.
Robinson.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
little by committee replacement. Anyways, Norm was
and
on.
then there's like some Tommy Alter, who used to be the co-host with JJ.
Oh yeah, he's the number one. He's the number one white boy co-host
Absolutely.
in the podcast world. The question here is: so Norm made a comment about how he wished the Raptors would have just paid him and the guys and just kept that group together. So thoughts on that? Because he basically made a comment, and then we knew it at the time. Like they were trading to get younger with Gary, and they didn't want to pay Norm heading into his free agency.
Yeah.
I forgot I forgot Norm was on the Blazers. But he signed a 5-year, $90 million deal
Yeah.
with the Blazers that summer. So in retrospect, I assume you would be okay with giving Norm that money.
Oh yeah, I think the explanation at that time was like front office is anticipating Norm to get higher annual average salary than a Gary Trent. I also think that like at that time they wanted to sort of take a gamble and see if they could sort of get better. And I think like if you go back to like the bubble, like Gary Trent Jr. was actually like a really exciting prospect for the Blazers. I was pretty excited to get him. I was pretty sad to get rid of Norm, but also it seemed like they wanted to get a little bit younger and potentially roll on some upside. It didn't fully hit. I would say that Norm is certainly a better player than Gary Trent Jr. Over the maybe the 3 years in which the like Norm would have played continuously on the Raptors, in terms of like if you had Norm versus Gary, I don't think that would have changed that much of the outcome of those seasons. I think maybe vibe wise it might have been a little bit better just because Norm is like closer to that core group. You know, he came up with guys like Fred and Pascal and OG, but like we know that that locker room had chemistry issues. To
Yeah,
say the least. So I don't know if Norm would have held it together in a way that was tangibly different than how it sort of all come out. He is a better player than Gary, but I mean at the same time it's like I appreciate more than anything else Norm just always showing love to the Toronto fan base. I think that the fact that he really wanted to be here, the fact that he would have taken the money that the Raptors ultimately gave to Gary, like you have to say in hindsight that like it would have been a better value just to keep Norm considering he's a better player on the same money. But also at the same time, I think the front office probably rated Norm a little bit lower than maybe the general consensus. You know, like certainly they saw him as a shoot first player, for example, but
yeah, maybe Norm would have just never gotten the opportunity to have the type of breakout season
yes,
that he had here this season. And like
that too. Yeah.
listen, at the time, like I think it was the move made sense. Like you go younger with Gary. And I think the fact that Gary didn't work out in the end does cloud the fact that like he did show a lot of potential, like you mentioned, very early on.
Oh
But
yeah.
he just never like took it to that next level, or never his game just never kind of grew and it just stagnated.
Right.
So I don't know how he's doing in Milwaukee this season. But
Gary,
yeah.
I mean, it's tough. With Gary, it just felt like he just never. What can I say, man? I feel like with Gary, it's like you kind of eventually you get the chance to start, you get the chance to play a lot. You got to diversify your game beyond the point where it's like, okay, you shoot the three, but like, is there another thing that you do? You know, like I thought he played well for Pascal, for example. Pascal used to always post up and then kick out, and Gary was really good at sort of converting those. But what's the second thing that you do? Can you self-create? Can you create for others? Can you defend? Honestly, in a way, it's kind of similar to sort of how Norm was for the Raps. But ultimately, at the same time, Norm is just a better player than Gary. I think the athleticism factor is the thing that's a really big differential. For me, it's like Norm is a threat going in transition, and he's always been able to use athleticism to make plays going to the basket. Whereas with Gary, it almost felt like Gary would always undersell you by 1 or 2 layups per game, just based on sort of like his ability to finish. And he just wasn't as long and athletic as Norm was. And of course, I think Norm was also mad beloved. At the same time, though, like, I mean, not to just tout for our guy Gary, because I'm a big fan of both of those guys personally, but like Gary was also a bit of a fan favorite too. Now, come on, man, like people loved Gary at that time.
No,
You know what I mean?
Gary definitely had his fan base, but like on court, the thing I remember is just that 2022 playoffs, that first round against the Sixers, him getting cooked by James Harden in the elimination game.
Sure.
Like, and like I think it was just like people just kept waiting for his potential. So yeah, I guess Masai lost that trade, or we'll just pin it on Bobby. Yeah.
They're one of the same. That's the funniest thing is when people pick sides and they're like, "Oh, blame Bobby's. Blame Bobby's the blame Pat the lady, man." Guys, come on, man.
It's just funny to blame Bobby for stuff.
Fair enough.
It was also mentioned to us that the young man in the 3 got an hour and 30-minute interview versus our 7-minute interview. I did some quick Kumon math. We just have to interview Norm 12 more times for 7 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll be able to cut it into an hour and 30-minute.
I want to say a huge thank you to the Hello and Welcome audience for hunting down that Norman Powell interview, instantly hitting it with so many comments and so many views and so many likes that the YouTube algorithm was like, okay, let's actually push this video. It gave it a lot of momentum. I think it's actually our most viewed piece of content today. And yeah, I mean, a huge thanks to all the audience for waiting on it for so long, but also for showing the appreciation because it's universally positive, man. I mean, people love Norm. I knew that, but it was great to see that reflected. Honestly, if we actually had a chance to catch up with Norm at All-Star Weekend, I would have actually, one of my content ideas was to just show your comments to Norm.
Yeah, that would have been,
and just show how much love that Toronto still has for Norman Powell, no matter what.
Yeah, so yeah, go check out, if you haven't checked out the Norman Powell interview, go to the Hello and Welcome YouTube page. And if you have, go watch it again. It's only 7 minutes. Go watch it and come back. We'll still be answering questions.
Here's the thing, it's gonna hit, you could take it out the fridge like it's leftovers.
Watch it to the point where you can where you can memorize like every moment.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those. All right, let's see what else is there.
Also, how many views is that hour 30 got right now? You know, not to compare views, but
God.
Let's go views from the 6 right here.
Oh no, I knew you were gonna say that.
Young man and the 3.
By the way, I'm so tired of hearing the same Drake songs, Kendrick songs. You know, All-Star Weekend, all we heard was the same 7 Kendrick songs.
7.2K views versus 20K. Hey.
Is that 20K for us?
Hey, I think honestly, that's nothing against Young Man and 3. I think that's just like a huge credit to the Hello and Welcome fan base. Like you guys really
we
showed
beat
up.
them?
I think right now we got them covered pretty good.
Damn, yo, Kendrick's back, man. Squabble up. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, TV
Don't
off.
spark these wars, man. I hate this, man.
Squabble up.
Man.
All right, let's see what else.
Yeah, we're at 21. So right now, I mean, they only been out for a day, so we'll see sort of how long it goes. But now we are up 21-7.
Pretty sure.
I am confirming that is the top video for our channel to date. So thank you, everyone.
Until we drop these.
Yeah, what's
Grady Dick and
what's the next one?
Interviews.
What's the next
we
one?
We have Grady Dick. We have Chris Boucher. We also have
we might have
6
to
to 7 minutes with
video,
CJ Miles.
We'll have 7 minutes with CJ Miles. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we have a little bit with CJ Miles. We have a couple of full episode interviews in the pipe. We have Chuck Swirsky.
Onions, baby, onions.
Onions, baby, onions. We have John Bitove Jr. Each of you did a one-on-one with each of them respectively, which is pretty cool.
Sick.
So we have some stuff down the pipeline, and then we have a couple people that we're trying to get a hold of, and let's hope their voice comes back.
Hey, listen, if we can get this interview that we've been trying to get right here, I'm telling you, it'll be bigger than the normal interview.
Come on, Serge Ibaka.
No, why would you say that? Don't put that in. Oh my God. Yo, honestly, let's be real. If we dropped a Serge interview after all this time, you guys would go crazy. I know you guys would go crazy.
And I promise you, man, I'm writing checks that you gotta cash.
Yo, I'm
Draymond right now. No. Yeah, I guarantee we're gonna win a championship this year.
We were working on Serge like in All-Star. We've been working on Serge for a minute.
We've been working on Serge for a minute. Don't worry.
It almost happened too. It actually did almost happen.
Once that Zach Lowe appearance happens, all due respect to Zach Lowe, but I think Serge and his scarf might move.
Which platform will we interview Zach Lowe on?
Zach's gonna make us cut it up across Twitter, Blue Sky, IG, Facebook, and Snapchat, man.
I feel like
y'all got Snap.
Okay, what do you guys think about this?
Crazy.
We cut it up, and then we always say to watch the next part, go to this other platform, and then the next part to the other platform, and the next part to the other platform.
Yeah.
Zach Lowe does have motion like that, so I respect Zach.
No, Zach got motion, man.
But Serge Ibaka, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm guaranteeing Serge within the next 60 to 90 days.
60 to 90. Yeah, we can pull off 60 to 90.
When's the Real Madrid season over, man?
I will fly. We will fly to Madrid to make this happen, man.
I would love to go to Madrid.
I'm down to do that. Yeah.
Man, we got so much banged. I might take a vacation and a
Can we get Darius Garland on the pod?
Yeah, we gotta figure that one out. Anyways,
all right, moving forward.
Last question here: are y'all gonna watch that doubleheader documentary over the next 4 days? So, what Kevin's referring to is that in theaters right now, Cineplex theaters, I think across all the provinces, starting today and running until the 24th, there's a double feature on the Raptors' 30th anniversary. First doc is called Inbound. I think it examines kind of the culture of basketball here in Toronto across the first 30 years of the team. Jerome, is that correct? You screened it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I was at the screening on Wednesday. Inbound. I'm a really big fan of that doc. It was, like you said, it does take the story of immigration and how it has affected a lot of our Canadian players. I think what was really interesting to me, we know at this point, like it's the big thing that like Canada has the most NBA players historically next to the U.S. And I don't think we really have gotten a chance, at least in one place, to see like the different pockets of Canada that they've come from. Like there's the like North Montreal crew, they're the people from Toronto, they're the people from like all around too. And more than that, I mean, like I know immigration's a part of the story, but the thing that was like really great for me was actually getting to see a lot of their families involved. Like you see all of Lugan Stort's family, you see Chris Boucher's family.
Wonderful.
So getting to talk to them, obviously with RJ, you hear from Rowan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was just like a really good story and really touching. I think I was there with Shireen and Elaine and a friend of the show, Elaine Kwan, and we all admitted like at certain points we started getting choked up just because of like how nice it was to get like see some of those stories. So it's really worth seeing. And then the next one after that really hits close to home. Tell us about that one, Alex.
Yeah, second part is We the North, from prehistoric to historic. Who came up with
that title?
Anyways,
GBTS.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
So this was
just kidding.
This was the documentary I had a chance to work on as a researcher to help behind the scenes. This is a collaboration with Uninterrupted Canada and MLSC as well. And I think it's an hour. Was it an hour cut in the theater, Jerome?
I think it's about
around an hour.
I actually didn't keep track of the runtime, but I know both of them together goes about just like under 2 or just about 2.
So a lot of great interviews covering just like the first 30 years of the Raptors and really diving into the different eras. So if you guys want to check out this in theaters this weekend and until the 24th, just go to nba.com/30 years or just look up your Cineplex theaters on where it's playing. I think it's a super cool thing to check out. And I know at least for the We the North doc, that's going to be available on Crave.
That's right.
Later in March. And there's going to be another screening in March. So we should all go to that. And then I'll talk to Vinay. I'll talk to the Uninterrupted Canada people about maybe getting some free tickets too for some of our listeners.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great.
Come and check out.
Yeah.
So then
we should do a Q&A with researcher Alex.
Yeah, I can say what up to the chat. So the funny thing the one thing I wanted to talk about with regards to this is, Jerome's seen the film. For people that are gonna go see the film, I pop up briefly here and there. And you'll notice for the visual watchers here,
I'm going to
flash the screen here. You'll notice that I am the person on the right here wearing a blank hat. Yeah, which for all of you that know me, like
you an NPC, man.
Full NPC energy.
I've been rocking that PSA hat for life.
Which is, for those watching, on the left, that's how Alex showed up that day.
So, yeah, on the left, I showed up in my usual fit, my PSA hat.
Some vintage.
My nice little, vintage Redman tee, my engineer garments jacket. So that I didn't know that day that I was being interviewed. Because they needed some just, like, background of, like, someone to just tell the story.
Yeah.
So then they were like, they were worried, right? Because these films worry about, like, the rights to the hats and stuff. They're like, what's PSA? I'm like, I don't know. Because I was not trying to take that hat off. They're like, let's not take a risk. So the director of photography, his name was Kevin Wong. I mean, this is not. I mean, it just happened to be another Wong, and he was wearing this blank beige hat, and they're like, "Yo, give him that hat." So the craziest part of this is, before I filmed my segment, they were like, "Let's get you in some like Raptor stuff." So they had an assistant, super kind, brought me because we were shooting at Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah,
whose
Raptors warm-ups are you wearing here? Is this Jamal Shed's warm-up?
So they brought me to the team store to like buy Raptors gear. So then I just like picked out this like one Raptors like warm up.
This is what you picked out of all the things they got in there.
So I mean, I didn't want to
listening. He's basically wearing Jakob Poeltl's warm up.
I'm wearing what the guys wear during warm ups. But then it wasn't until I came back that they told me I couldn't wear the hat. Because if I knew, I would have just bought like a Raptors hat. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was just like a miscommunication, and it's fine. Like, listen, man, like it's a super.
Wearing another man's hat is crazy.
It was an honor to be like part of this, like be in the film. But it's just so funny that I didn't get to be like super comfortable in this. And then the funniest part is that go ahead.
No, I loaded this in because I was so excited. Alex appears in this, so does our friend Elaine, so does Shireen. So outside of the fact that it's a really cool Raptors doc for like anyone that's a Raptors fan to relive its history, personally for a lot of us and even fans of Hello and Welcome show, like you'll get to see a lot of familiar faces. And I got so excited that I broke your usual theater etiquette, brought out the cell phone, and snapped some pics. In the arena.
Yo, please bring that down right now.
For people watching right now, this is a little sneak preview. Yo, this is a trailer, a promo for what you're about to see when you when he turns up.
I look like the civilians they interview in like a Spider-Man movie or something.
You look like the auto-generated fans on 2K, man.
Yo,
oh my god.
Yeah, so the craziest part was they thought they had to bring me back in maybe for one more day just to like fill in a couple more things.
But you got to be consistency, so you got to wear the same fit.
So they're like, yo,
were you wearing that every?
No, so they're like, keep that warm up on ice, keep that jacket you had on ice. And they're like, if you come back, Kevin's going to give you the same cap. But then they didn't need me for the extra day, so thank God.
Goodness.
Yeah, no cap.
But I was like, man, like, if I come back that second day, maybe I can just beg them to reshoot everything.
The whole thing.
No, because you guys know me. Like, I got like 20 Raptors hats that I could wear.
You
know
have
what I mean? Like,
so many things.
I could wear so much like Raptors related stuff.
For anyone that actually wants to see what Alex would dressed up as, just look at all his appearances on Open Gym this season.
Look at him right now, man.
Look at him right now.
No, like, I legit have a fit for every occasion.
Exactly.
The number one thing about Alex is that he's got a fit for every occasion.
No, but
Alex, I'm sorry about this, but yeah, just one time.
Yo, why do I look like I'm like about to turn into Superman or something?
Yo, you look like one of the Raptors' assistants, man.
You look like Thanos coming in through a portal.
Yo, did you just win the Wayne and Teresa Embry Foundation?
Oh no, he's not the fellow. This is a new fellow.
You want the fellowship? Congrats, man.
Like Asian Clark.
Fellowship of the Wong.
You got dressed like Noah Lewis, man.
So crazy. Anyways, if you go to Cineplex and go to the theaters to check it out, that is what you're gonna see.
Yeah,
this week.
But joking aside, no, these are both really good watches. If you're a basketball fan, if you're a Canadian basketball fan, it's hard to go back seriously after that. But these are well worth the watch. I know Alex was still recovering from the trip, and Will was still in San Francisco. Otherwise, we all would have been there for it.
Sure, yeah.
But no, it's really exciting. And then personally, Alex, I'm so proud to see you on that screen. It was so cool to see you do your thing, and you know, like you'll see Alex in bits and pieces, but like you'll find that he like narrates a lot throughout it. And I think like when you think about any basketball documentary, the people that they have to kind of be like those like points of like pulling information and like pulling narrative and carrying things through, like these are like real like established people. So like to hear Alex along with everyone else, it's like a really cool thing and well deserved.
We're really proud of you, man.
No, I appreciate appreciate guys. I appreciate obviously Vinay and Sammy Khan who directed this, and even all the guys at Open Gym. Like I know the Open Gym guys, have shown a lot of love this season. Just including 2 minutes of me in every episode.
Yo, relax, man. At least you got to wear a PSA hat in Open Gym.
Yeah, we should have cleared that, man. No, but it's super cool. So, the other
one more
listen,
appreciation.
You deserve it, though. Here's the thing: you put more effort into researching the foundation of Toronto Raptors than any single person alive when it comes to Raptors history and Raptors fandom. And like, I know how much that I always say that book, Writing Prehistoric, put you in therapy, man, because it was just too much to handle. But like,
no, but
you know what
did that
also
out of
put
sheer
Alex
love,
into
man.
therapy?
Love of the game, seriously. Oh, brother.
Yo,
Sorry, I'll stop.
No, we're gonna have a
I'll
showdown. We're gonna have a showdown at the end of the season of Fellowship of the Wong versus Zion Williams.
Zion
okay,
Williamson
we
might
need
be
to
better
keep
than
it.
this.
That's
man.
gonna be. We're gonna put that to a fan vote. That's
no.
gonna be the AC fan flight fan vote.
Oh, brother.
Oh man, sorry,
Oh,
Alex.
man.
No more.
No. It's all good. I just find it so funny that of all the things, like all the hats that I own over the years, the one time I make my big screen debut,
Hey, man.
it's a damn blank page.
Well, friend of the show, a friend of ours, Alex, Jess Zelinsky, I brought her along as a +1 to this to watch this, and I told her, I was like, I kind of told her ahead, I'm like, we both know how much we love like Alex's fits and style and everything. Well, I'm just gonna warn you, when you watch this, like the person that shows up on screen, like I can't even describe it, but he was asked last minute to change, and the moment you popped up, like you can hear from like 3 people in the crowd just chuckling and laughing.
Yo, hello, welcome fans. Please take a photo when you go see this documentary. Go take a photo. Of
break
Alex
the
and his
rules.
fit,
Take
please.
a photo.
Oh yeah, no. Everyone
Be a
snap a
Susie
photo.
Texter or whatever.
Yeah. Tommy Texter.
I'm gonna hit up.
Texter,
I'm gonna
yeah,
hit
yeah.
up Kevin Wong. I want to pull up to the March screening in that fit.
You have
Like,
to.
You
I
have
consistency,
to.
I
man.
want to hit the red carpet or whatever it is in that fit.
We actually need to ask Kevin where he got the hat from, and I think we need to sell it as Hello and Welcome merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
Like,
feel
it's a
we need to get
designated-
that. We need to get that one of one hat. Like that's a one of
Oh,
one.
that's a one of many
101.
hat. That's a one of many
Yeah.
from Uniqlo, man.
Yeah.
That's on the rack at Uniqlo right now.
Yeah.
You can get it right
I
now.
can't even put my glasses on right now.
Oh,
fucking up.
All right. What else? Oh yeah, we got an
Oh, yeah.
event tomorrow.
We are going
let
to
me-
an event tomorrow. Yeah, come pull up.
For all you
Is that
guys,
it for questions? I'm just switching through boards.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
So for all
Okay.
you guys in the chat, we're gonna be at U of T at Hart House. The official address is 7 Hart House Circle. We're gonna be part of a vendor marketplace that's taking place in there. They have a room called the Great Hall. When you go in, you'll be able to find it, or just ask someone in there. A lot of great vendors from around the city are going to be posting up, setting up, selling their own merch. A lot of cool Raptors vintage stuff. Our friend Kai, Mr. Beast, is going to be doing a special Raptors memorabilia display. But more importantly, for Hello and Welcome listeners, we're going to be there doing a pop-up. And for maybe this is the only time you're going to be able to get the Wong Shadamas hoodie for $50. And
In
then
person.
the hats, t-shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve tees are all $30. So come through, limited quantities, but come through. You don't even got to buy merch. Like just, come by, say what up. 12
We're
to
all
4.
gonna be there.
And then from 4 to 6, we're actually having an open run, a basketball run at the Hart House Gym.
Brother.
So come through. We're giving away a pair of Raptors tickets, some Peace Collective merch, some other stuff as
man.
well.
Some peace-mated merch.
Yeah, so make sure you come check that out tomorrow. I think the weather's okay tomorrow. There's no snowstorm.
It's getting a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will, how much are you itching to get back on the court after a couple of weeks away?
We got to get some shots up, man. We got to get some shots up because the Raptors media game is coming up next week. So we'll give you not live coverage. Well, we'll give you some coverage.
Wait, do I need to bring some gear to this? Are we doing some
you might need to clear that with PR.
That's fair.
I'm
That's
just saying
fair.
that I need to. I think we'll be dressed like how Alex was in the documentary in that too.
I want to drop one hook shot over a media member on Monday.
Should I mic you up? Maybe I'll mic you
Who,
guys up.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Who should I drop a hook shot over? Maybe Joey.
We don't know what
Wolfon.
the teams are. That's the
I heard-
thing.
I know Joey Wolfon is in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been
I
seeing the
got
score at a lot of Raptors events.
I got some intel from friend of the show, Dwayne Watson, that maybe it's going to be an All-Star Weekend style tournament.
Oh, that'd be super
So
fun.
like they're gonna
Okay.
have like
Yeah.
potentially it's gonna be
Was
like
it like
smaller
tier
teams of
Okay, I'll stop the jokes. Yeah.
like smaller teams, and then I think like just like a mini style tournament.
That's actually would be
So we'll
really
see how it
fun.
goes. That
Yeah.
could be fun. Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope we're all on the same team.
Yeah, what's gonna happen
Well,
if we're not?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
How it goes. By the way, my new so I know a lot of people have been talking about All-Star Weekend and stuff. You know, the NHL obviously did the Four Nations Cup, and it was a rousing success. You know, I think it was one of those things where everybody was watching. Even me last night, I was on the plane like from San Francisco. Like I was like I guess mid-flight when it was coming back during that game. But even I was trying to like find the live TV and like actually try to watch it. And I've never gone out of my way to watch hockey almost ever, basically. So it generated a ton of excitement. But I realized the NBA could do a very similar thing. Like, you know, with the NBA putting out Court of Gold right now on Netflix, which has now followed the Olympic tournament between Team USA, behind the scenes from Team Serbia, France, and Canada, they can do the same thing, but just at All-Star Weekend. Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool if the NBA was just like straight rip-off, but we'll have Team USA, we'll have Team Canada, we'll have Team France, and then we can have Team like Yugoslavia. You know, and you could just put like I guess Luka and Jokic on the same team. Like that would also be a hell of a tournament.
Yeah, I think they would. I think if you only did it as a one like at All-Star Weekend, it might. I still don't know if the players are gonna take it seriously.
It's a tough one.
I think
Yeah.
I think the NHL one really worked because they actually spread it out and made it a whole tournament,
Okay.
like over like a
yeah.
week or whatever it was. Like
Sure.
if the NBA was willing to do that and put some stakes on that, like round robin tournaments, spread that out over like a couple days, kind of like the play-in tournament when they go to Vegas
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have like four
Like the NBA
teams.
Cup.
Yeah, make it a thing. Then I think the players would actually care. I just feel like at this point, anything that they brand at All-Star Weekend, the players are just not going to take seriously.
Well, I mean, I was also thinking more about
Yeah.
All-Star Weekend, and it's just like, why are we having it in the middle of the season? Like everyone's mad tired, everyone's looking for a break, and that's part of the reason why the energy is so poor in these things. Why not do what the NFL does, which is like basically a Pro Bowl, but at the end of the season before the Super Bowl? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like they might as well just not do it.
I think
I
in the
feel like at that
end-
point.
man,
I
Yeah.
mean, like, while we were delayed at the airport, I was talking with Scott Kamsel, who was on our flight back too, and I think the thing that we arrived at is we got to stop trying to fix it because you can do whatever you want, and I feel like this year was a really good example. We just convoluted it, and it didn't really change anything. I think like the players, like whatever way we can get the players up to do something, it's just up to the players. Like all they have to do is play, and then it doesn't matter what the format is. It doesn't matter like what the teams are, and so I'm not sure that we have anything that's actually going to motivate
yeah.
that.
But I mean, I'm also seeing the rhetoric kind of like lean too far into like basically just blaming the players for everything. Like I think
No, I don't
especially
think
now
there's a
that we
blame to it. Yeah.
No, but like we're putting the onus on the players of like if they don't want to play hard, if they don't try hard, like the number one most viral thing that went around about the NBA last night was not anything about the NBA. It was just PK Subban yelling about how NBA players don't play hard and NHL players play hard, which, you know, like I'm sorry, but like NBA players also play hard, and like when you
Sure.
put this narrative out there that they're never playing hard, you know, it kind of like it says a lot about them character-wise. I feel like that doesn't
We
necessarily
also don't
feel
need to
fair
listen
on
to
behalf
PK
of the entire.
Subban.
Yeah, sure, that's that part too. But like, you know, people are running with that idea. I think it's just like when we've seen it now. I guess you guys have already gone to All-Star Weekends, but now having seen it from behind the scenes, the focus of All-Star Weekend is on everything except for the basketball game itself.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
it is a million media obligations. It is a million photo ops. It's a million chances to sign autographs with screaming fans right in your face nonstop every day. You have your family around. Everyone's looking for a vacation. You're also the most tired you are all season. and you're also not trying to get hurt. It's every single thing taking away the priority from the players to play the game. And then when they don't play the game, we're like, players don't play hard. And it's like, you didn't create any of the conditions to make it, like you're blaming the workers in a situation where I think you should be blaming the company.
Well, I was gonna say, if anything, like not even so much like the players. I think what we are kind of losing sight of, especially for like the times that it was like at its best, is this was always an exhibition, and I don't know, like the most you're ever gonna get out of a good All-Star game is a quarter of good play. Like you're never gonna get like a really good game. Sure. I think like Alex, at least like we can remember like when we were growing up, good games, like your typical All-Star game was probably like the first quarter to half of just like a lot of highlights, kind of similar to what we saw like how this All-Star game closed. Like if anything, that threw me off because that's usually how they start a game, and I think they kind of keep it as such, and then eventually get to the second half and like the final quarter where they just start trying and getting a little competitive. But mostly we just kind of want to see, like I think we're like maybe like a little more from the media side, and like people who are like really hardcore NBA fans like are really expecting a lot out of it. But this is a casual event, and people just want to see the stars do anything. And I think for the most part, like other things that we might be losing sight of is when you go see what happened at the All-Star practice at Oracle, like that's what the weekend is. That's like everyone having access to just see all the players together at once. I get that we want like a better product, and it should be that, but I think kind of to the point of like, I don't know, not so much that we have to put the onus on the players, but I don't think we need to like convolute it so much by like keep on trying to coming up with fixes. Like there's nothing that's going to change.
This generation just doesn't care, man. Like it's the All-Star game isn't for this generation. Like it is what it is. Like the guys like Wemby, whoever the next guy's up.
Come on. Wemby played hard all-Star weekend.
I know, but Wemby's
and then very suspicious.
Well, Wemby.
Very convenient that he suddenly became diagnosed with a very serious diagnosis right after All-Star weekend.
No, but it's like going back to all the games.
That like, feels a little fishy.
Scary.
But anyway,
the LeBron generation, the Kobe generation, the MJ generation, like you generated great All-Star moments because those guys love competing against each other. So just because Wemby likes to compete, like who's gonna compete with him? Like the guys have to care, and it's like the bigger problem too is like these young guys. If you tell them every year that they're the problem, they're just gonna respond to it negatively.
Yeah. Sure.
Like if you're constantly being told that you're the problem of the weekend, like I'd pull a Wemby too and like try to scam the skills challenge or like it's just like no, it's just like constantly being told that like it's the players. That's the problem. It's only gonna make them care less. Like you're not gonna pressure them into caring more.
I think the other thing too is like All-Star Weekend used to be a great time for you to get your message out there. Like I was listening to the podcast that you two put together on Vince Carter and why he wore and1s for the dunk contest.
Oh yeah, give that a listen.
It's a really, really great listen. It's very different from all the other shows that we've done, but it's really, really well done by the two of you and all the people involved in the interviews. But like one of the big themes was like All-Star was an event because it was the one chance for a lot of media to converge and for you to launch something, for you to come to market with something. The thing is like, what actually gets launched at All-Star now? All these players have enough of their own platforms because of social media that they don't care about what the mainstream media like has to sort of offer when it comes to a mainstream event like this. And so it's never really about that. They would rather have their own moment rather than sort of launch everything at All-Star Weekend when all the cameras are around.
Well, also in fairness to that
like
one,
Shea announced the Converse shoe. Like, okay, Shea's
Sure.
got a signature shoe. That's really cool. That's not even going to come out until like next year or like in the summertime, I think.
Right. Well, no, I mean, kind of a little bit of pushback on that one, at least like in terms of that 2000 contest. The other thing too was because of a lockout, they had no All-Star the year before. Like they got to build up anticipation.
Okay.
And also the quality of the dunk contest at that time, like leading up to Vince coming in, was terrible. Like if you look at some of those contests, even like ones with like, you want to talk about at least like who eventually became like superstars, like Kobe Bryant's contest is brutal.
It's
and
not
his,
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, there's a little bit of a romanticization of like how things went during that time. But
things were better back then.
Things were better. Fair enough. But anyway, we don't need to. If you actually if you want to hear a lot of their thoughts, we did talk about it in our post All-Star, and I'm sure we're going to talk more about it when we eventually get to a banter pod. But apparently this is a react pod. So why don't we get to some like 3 stars?
Well, not to extend the pod, but y'all want to talk a little hockey? Because I know Alex was
Man, I
wait. Oh, if you want to talk
gonna-
some hockey, wait, guys, hold up for a sec. I actually like updated our logo for this part. There we go.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Now we're a hockey pod.
Let's talk about hockey because like this is the number one thing happening in Canada. Like when you got
Also,
Justin
by the way,
Trudeau,
I didn't watch
who's
this at all, so I'm
shitposting
just gonna
online,
jump
amazing.
on.
Amazing stuff. Yeah. Alex, talk to me about the hockey experience, man.
I was just about to jump off for the night too, man. No, it was great.
You're
I
here.
had a chance to go to Greta Bar on King West and hang out with the Nation Network crew. And I got to say, people know about Greta. There was no Papa Shot happening. There, the Mario Kart was empty. Everybody was locked in on the game. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
And especially with the game going into overtime, super exciting. I just feel like Canada just needed a win. Vladdy's not coming back.
Oh yeah, that's
to
right.
the Jays.
Right.
What else? Like all this talk about the 51st state. Drake versus Kendrick. There's just been a lot of stuff. Like
yeah,
Canada,
the conversion rate is
Canada just
one
really
USD is
needed
1.44.
Yeah. A Philly cheesesteak at Angelo's will cost you $47 Canadian these days if you go to
God.
Philly. But it's like it just felt like Canada really needed this. Like
Yes.
just really like Matt Devlin needed this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, to see the moment of like Canada scoring, Connor McDavid scoring in overtime, like it was just super exciting. It's like the Olympics. I'm sure you remember the Olympics.
Yeah, sure.
Like Sidney
yeah.
Crosby scoring like a golden goal and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's
Jerome
like
McGinley digging out the puck. And
yeah,
centering
I mean
it. Yeah,
basketball at the Olympics able to bring the country together until they fold against France in the quarterfinals. Watch Court of Gold for that. But like nothing like hockey, I feel like brings out just like the patriotism of just like anybody. You know what I mean? Like
especially for Canadians, I think more than anything else, because I think hockey has a lot of really good elements. I'm realizing because it's like, number one, it's hard to get a blowout in hockey. I feel like in this type of setting, like it's always really hotly contested, and one goal changes so much, right?
Sure.
Versus in basketball, like it's much rarer for it to come down to a one possession game versus in hockey. Just based on the sheer volume of scoring in basketball, you're creating more separation versus like you're always in a tight game in hockey. I think the other part too is just like hockey has all these like huge physicality moments, but also like lots of random error built into the game. You know what I mean? Like how many times you see a goal where like a guy gets a stick, deflected in front and it just bounces
it's
in.
like one bad bounce and you could lose a gold medal game.
Exactly, right? And so like it feels like you get more into the game just because of the fact that like there are just these like huge random swings that force such big outcomes in how the game is played. It's honestly, to me, the closest thing for me is soccer. It happens a lot in soccer, for example, where just like a little bad bounce here or there changes the entire game entirely. And then I think more than anything else, it's like they can also fight each other. There's like an element of physicality that you can find satisfying within the flow of the game. Like it's satisfying that like I know a lot of people really enjoyed when the first time Canada played USA, I guess in the round robin, where like guys dropped the gloves right away and fought each other. Like I feel like it satisfies, at least for a certain type of fan who has this element in their brain of like they like seeing the physicality, they like seeing the fighting, that like it actually hits that itch for them. And so when you put all that together, when you tie in the fact that like also people making the comparisons between like what the NHL did with All-Star Weekend versus what Canada did or what the NBA did, you can't ignore the fact that like there's a huge political specter over this whole thing. Like without that element, without sort of Trump's like essentially threatening to sort of like I guess Canada's sovereignty in here, which is ridiculous. Like it doesn't nearly add the same level of like stakes that comes into this, because ultimately when you watch sports, it's about the stakes that you put on the line, not necessarily just about the actual quality of the sporting event itself. It's about the stakes that are on the line. And like on that front, it's like nothing else can really match that from an NBA perspective. Like I don't even know what would need to happen.
There's no better
NBA
rivalry. Like Team USA versus Team Canada.
Yeah.
In hockey is like a top 5, like top 3, I don't even know, like all-time rivalry.
Right.
Like I don't even know what to compare. Like I'm sure there's in soccer, like there's like I don't know, like what Brazil versus Argentina or something like that. You could probably come up with some, right?
You a ball knower, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's like but you get USA and Canada in any hockey tournament environment.
Yeah.
and it's like the biggest rivalry.
Yeah.
And, like, because if you compare it to like basketball, like if Canada didn't fold against France and had advanced, and let's say they played Team USA, and I mean we
Sure.
had a version of that at the FIBA World Cup in the bronze medal game.
We did.
Right?
That was fun.
Yeah, but it's
Except
like
it was at 8 a.m.
Yeah, but it's like it doesn't compare on any level to when USA and Canada face off in hockey.
Well, I think the other thing too is Canada wraps up its national identity in hockey almost more than anything else. Like,
Right,
Canada
but
is like the
USA,
ultimate little brother to the
yeah,
US's big brother.
But USA is good enough in hockey
Yeah.
to beat them every time. So it's almost like an even match every
Sure.
time.
Yeah. But I think that's where it's really satisfying because this is the one time little brother gets to punch big brother in the nose. And that's exactly what it felt like. And shouts to Connor McDavid, man. I don't know how he was so open in the center of the ice, but the fact that he put a top shot, it's a perfect goal.
Yeah, nice
shouts
feed
to
from
Mitch
our guy
Marner.
Mitch Marner, man. Yeah.
Hey.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like I watch maybe like 3 hockey games a year.
Yeah.
And it is cool though. Like, it is cool to just like have those moments because like outside of the Olympics, you don't really get a lot of chances. Outside of the Olympics and like the World Cup, and like Team Canada soccer made it to the World Cup. They folded.
Hey, that was tough.
they got packed up real quick.
I think they went up 1-0 too. I think didn't Davies score the first goal?
Sure, man.
They got packed up.
Put that in the history books.
They got packed up, but it was their first time. It's their first time. That's the thing. It's like if Canada loses in the other sports, it doesn't really affect us in the same way. It just doesn't. We don't tie our like identity to it. But like when Canada wins in hockey in particular, and when they lose in hockey, it's like you get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and you'll see it too when you watch Court of Gold.
Yeah.
Like you see how much the sport means to like a country like Serbia, and not to say it doesn't mean the same to like Canada, but it's like when you watch these things, you just see certain sports mean something more.
Yeah.
To certain countries and stuff, and you can say the same about soccer, and I think you can apply hockey here to Canada, and you hope that basketball and soccer can become that, and I think it is becoming that, but it takes time, right? Like in Court of Gold, they're talking about like Canada haven't medaled at the Olympics as basketball team since like 1936.
Yeah, that was a crazy stat that Rowan Barrett
that's
dropped
wild
on the dock. Yeah.
So,
but it's also like
what do you guys know about
what's up?
I
was just gonna say there's just such a big difference in experience too. Like the USA team, like the luxury of having LeBron and like KD, who have been there for so many Olympics.
Yeah,
they're like we're chill. We know how to get through this. Versus Canada, it's like so much pressure because this is the one time we actually made it in 24 years. So anyway, whatever. Yeah, so go ahead.
Anyway, we have some money here from Tot Shot Esla. Daryl Sittler was a problem. What do you guys know about Daryl Sittler?
Oh my god, I don't know, man. His band at Scotiabank, probably. Yeah, he had a 10-point game once.
Did he really?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, but 10 point, not 10 goal.
No, but he had. I think he had
10 points is
game.
ridiculous.
10 points still ridiculous.
10 points. How was 10 points like? Is that like Kobe's 81-point game? Is that like?
I feel like it's like 70. I feel like you gotta be like I don't know.
Maybe it's like Scott Skiles' 21 assist game.
Yeah, no, he had 30.
30.
Oh, was it 30?
Yeah,
oh my god,
30 assists, man. Who was he passing you? Pat Garrity?
God, man. All right.
Who's the most famous hockey player you guys have met?
That I have met?
Yeah.
Dave Andrzejczuk tried to buy my house once.
Whoa.
Oh shit, that's fire.
Wait, what?
My parents played. Yeah. Not my house.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he used to play on the Leafs, and then we had a place in I guess in Markham, and he was trying to move there, and then his agent, obviously real estate agent was Asian, came through, and then he was looking at the place, but then a week later he got traded to the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, so
that's generational wealth, man. We're not joking.
That's crazy.
Having a Dave Andrzejczuk, I know who that is, man.
Will, do you have anyone?
I don't think I've met an NHL player. I mean, like, I've never gone out of my way to be like trying to meet one, but I don't think I've met one. Yeah.
Never crossed paths at Scotiabank Arena?
If I have, I wouldn't have known who they were. Like, if it's not like Matt Santine or Ty Domi, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't really know who it is. I'm sorry. Like,
no, it's true though. A lot of them, it's like it's not.
You know what I mean? Like, I love watching like that team back in the day of like Gary Roberts and Nick Antropov and Alexei Ponikarovsky and
he's saying names now.
McGillney was on that team.
I used to love hockey, and then it's just like I don't know what happened. It's like I think at some point
Cujo.
you get to an age you just like choose choose one sport to really follow, or
Yeah.
like you can't follow every sport.
No, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
then it
like,
just drops
but
off.
again, like, I watched the hell out of that team. I have no idea what if Brian McCabe walked past me, I'd be like, okay, sir, like, who is that? You know, if you were like Thomas Caverly. So I'm
I
sorry.
once
man.
saw,
by the way, yes, this is a great answer. Nick Kyprios. Nick Kyprios is actually the most famous hockey player.
Oh,
I met.
true,
He used to
true,
come in the
true.
studio after us
Oh
every
yeah,
single
shouts to
day.
Kipper.
Yeah, there
Just
you
a
go.
Kipper. Yeah, Kipper was
There you
cool,
go.
man. By the way,
Um,
one of our first weeks at Sportsnet, I was like, yo, I'm not a big hockey fan. Like, what can you tell me about Nick Kyprios to Alex? And Alex showed me a video of Nick Kyprios getting
Well,
like,
Nick
into
Kyprios got
fights on
into
the
a
ice.
lot of fights.
Yeah.
And like I know it's pretty well documented. Like he had a couple concussions at least.
Sure, yeah.
And some of those YouTube videos you pulled up was pretty violent.
They were graphic, and I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to just see him down the
Pretty
hall
violent.
sitting there with Bourne and Sam McKee. So
Yeah, shouts to Kipper, man.
Shouts to Kipper, bro.
He
Love
was
Kipper.
always super kind to us
mm,
at SN, and like Will mentioned, we kind of crossed over because their show with Bourne and Sam McKee was always right after us.
It
Nice.
always
We'd
would
always have
automatically play after I watch.
Yeah,
your
we'd
show.
always have that little like
Yeah.
5-minute interaction
Mhm.
with Kipper.
he'd be
Yeah.
like,
Kipper,
what's going on with the Raps, boys? You think I can sell my tickets? I got
Kipper-
season tickets, but they're not
Kipper
selling
was
well
a
these
problem.
days.
Yeah, Kipper was. A
I once
problem.
saw Wendell Clark steal a kid's lunch.
What?
That's crazy.
Not steal,
is-
not
wait,
steal.
what does
Okay,
it
wait here.
mean? What
Okay,
does
here's
that
the
mean?
story. Here's the story. I used to like for people who don't know, I used to work for MLSC.
Yeah.
That was my first job in sports. And in I want to say my first summer, I was like taking any freelance job in the company. So I was shooting videos for like the kids' summer camps. So I did one for like Toronto FC, Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors. And so for the Leafs camp, everyone knew me already as like a person that didn't know anything like or too much about hockey.
Bro, where
see
did
you
you
later.
go? Okay, let's remove Alex. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll move Alex for now. But I was like shooting, and then there was one day where I saw this gentleman in like a pink polo who kind of looks like a walrus but was a human, which is basically what Wendell Clark looks like to me.
Oh, word?
But like he was wandering around kind of aimlessly, and then I started asking around like, hey, is Wendell Clark supposed to do like a player appearance today? And they're like, well, Jerome, there's no way you know who Wendell Clark is, so it's probably just some guy. I was like, all right, if you say so. So like I see him over and over again. And then at some point, the way the lunches work for like the campers is each had their own individually packed lunches. I think it was spaghetti and meatballs that day.
Nice.
And I see this gentleman go and grab a lunch and just go and start eating it on his own. and then later on, to like for my vindication, someone's like, hey, Wendell Clark's here just eating lunch. And then it was confirmed. Yeah, this guy in a pink polo with the cap was Wendell Clark.
Wow, he was
But
just like Alex
I had
Wong.
like way too many. I have so many random Wendell Clark moments because he would just like
yeah.
wander into places. You know, like the
That's cool.
premium entrance to Scotiabank. Like that's also where like the media elevators are.
Yeah.
I remember one day just walking through the office and I was going downstairs just to go grab a meal, and I was like, "Hey, someone should know that Wendell Clark is just sitting down here."
Why are we describing Wendell Clark like he's just like someone's grandpa, man?
Yo, here's
kinda
how
is.
much merch I actually have, man. I went to grab it.
Let's go! Look at this
have
Kyprios.
Come on, bro.
Like it's crazy.
Nick Kyprios, Rangers.
Oh, do I have to put the?
sweater? Oh, that's fire, man.
Like I had to get this.
All right,
I
this
had to
logo's
get
back
this.
on.
Had to get this custom. Like actually buy a Rangers jersey and then
Mm-hmm.
have a friend Josh at In Vintage We Trust reach out to his Korean Connect.
Isn't Josh going to be at the thing tomorrow? Isn't he
Yeah,
supposed
Josh
to
will
go
be
head to head against Kai?
Yeah, Josh will be there. But to get the Kipper, and I still need to walk into the Sportsnet premises and get Kipper to sign this. So
I don't know. I don't know if we're allowed to do that. Are you sure we could go
maybe
there?
maybe like 20 meters from
Wait.
from OMP.
You might have
Which
to meet
happens
at-
first, Serge Ibaka or Kipper signing your jersey?
Kipper can sign my jersey. I saw Derek Brandale for lunch the other day. I should have just
There you
dropped
go.
it off.
Yeah,
for him.
you might have to meet him at Rooster, baby. You might have to
told-
get the cafe across that Rabba across the street.
I told Derek
Gotta be there,
Brandale, our producer, when we were on Raptor Show, that we started using drops I saw a little,
Oh,
saw a
boy.
little tear in his eye.
Oh, boy.
brother.
I was like, we pulled the Adam Silver.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying all the banter.
Yo, we gotta add the Zach Edey up there, man.
So
Oh, yeah. We have a couple from the weekend that we
I'm
need to.
enjoying
yeah,
all
we
the
have
banter.
that, and Derek says he has a whole folder that he can just send us. I guess we got to figure out the rights to those.
The rights to sound drops is crazy.
You know what? We got rights. Everybody got global rights to Kawhi saying ni hao. So
Yeah. Oh,
We
we
got
also just random like
up?
Zach Edey sat in front of Zach Edey's mom over at the screening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
well, at least you don't have to sit in front of Zach Edey. Then you would have been able to see.
I kept trying to ask Zach Edey. Basically, do you have how was your Asian mom experience?
That came up.
All-Star
That came
Weekend.
up in the inbound doc as well. And then I actually talked to her about it, and I told her about you asking
Oh,
those
wow.
questions at All Star, and she had a good laugh about it.
Nice. Did you tell her that I asked him? Did you ever go to Chinese school?
Oh, I forgot to ask that part. No, I forgot to ask that.
Yo, Zach Edey not going to Chinese school kills me, man. How could he escape the clutches of going to Chinese class? I'm so
No, it's
jealous,
just
man.
I guess that's what you get when you're really tall.
Yeah.
All right, do your 3 stars, man. I'm
All right.
3
Well,
stars.
yes, that's right. Raptors Heat happened tonight. 3 stars from tonight's performance. Your first star is going to go to RJ Barrett. RJ, kidding me? A nice game for RJ. 29 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He's played really well against the Heat all season, but I like that he hit a smattering of jumpers to go along with his usual drives to the rim. 4 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 from the foul line. Made a pull-up jumper as well.
Make sure
What's
you
up?
go cop RJ's new Puma shoes, man.
Oh, wow.
Got
okay.
a pair for you too, Will. So
Oh, yeah?
we'll drop it off for you at some
Yo,
point.
that's actually looks
You guys,
sick, man.
you
I'm
guys got to
actually
wear it
excited
at the
wear
media
this.
run.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna wear these tomorrow and at the media run.
You know, I'm loyal to my now defunct Trae Young threes. That
Yeah, how
he's-
stupid did we feel? Like, well, we're
Now
like,
that-
yo,
now that
did,
he's with
we
Jordan.
thought we like had a scoop. He's been with Jordan for how long?
He's been with Jordan for that. Oh well, no wonder that those Adidas shoes are on sale. But
Yeah,
shouts
that
to the
makes a lot
3
of sense.
stripes. I'm loyal, but I will wear these RJ Pumas as well. Yeah, RJ 29 points, played really well, knocked down some jumpers. You know, he banked in. He hit a pull up jumper going right, banked it in off the glass, and then was starting to talk shit to Davion Mitchell. I loved it because like, how are you even supposed to talk shit when you bank it in accidentally? But still, RJ was really good in this game. Second star. I guess I'll give it IQ. IQ 23 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Couldn't ultimately get the big shots to drop, you know, especially in overtime. But I like the aggression from 3. I like that he was able to play his regular assortment of minutes. I'm looking forward to seeing him actually get some run here with the Raptors, considering he's been so banged up this season. But 5-11 from 3 for him. And then third star, honestly, shouts to Orlando Robinson. Orlando had a really nice one tonight. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. 4 of 8 shooting, got on the offensive glass, made the right passes out of there. Still a little bit more robotic. I would love for him to play a little quicker, but I guess he's adapting. And yeah, he's got a bit of a 3-point stroke as well. He's certainly not shy to shoot them. And tonight he actually knocked one down in the fourth quarter. So those are your 3 stars. Your Gerald Henderson Award winner for who torched the Raps. You got to go with Davion Mitchell. Davion had actually had a really nice game in his return to Toronto. 16 points, 6 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. The Raptors basically weren't guarding him all night, but he actually did make some pretty timely shots, played some pretty good defense as well. And shouts to Davion, man. He was, you know, for a short time in Toronto here, he actually did a really good job of just ingratiating himself. He came 2.5 hours before the game just to like dap up all these Raptors assistant coaches, dap up the former players, and then he came out for his warm-up. He sat with the media for a while. Like, this guy just really enjoyed being in Toronto. So shouts to Davion, and best of luck in your career with the Miami Heat. I think that's it. I think that might be it, actually. So I think that's everything for the show tonight. Thanks everyone for listening. The Raps are so bad that you know, we're openly admitted to tanking, and also that we're talking about hockey. But you know, you never know what happens with the React Pod. That's why you got to hit the subscribe button on the Hello and Welcome YouTube page, and also on Spotify, on Apple. And we're gonna have a good time with the rest of the season, no matter what. Even though the Raptors' objective right now is to get as many lottery balls as possible, our goal is to get as many laughs out of all of us and just have a good time after every game. So thanks everyone for listening. Come check out our event tomorrow at U of T, 12 to 6. You can hit our IG page for more information on that. Actually, hit Alex's IG page at Stephen LeBron. But hope to see some of you there. And otherwise, I'll be back here on Sunday when the Raptors play the Phoenix Suns at Scotiabank Arena. Take care.